Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you so much, as always, for making your way here, checking out the series. You know what to do. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. And I'm so excited today to have Sting. He is back with a brand new album called The Bridge. Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great over here. Congratulations on what is another fantastic record. I've had so much fun listening to this one, and everything that goes in. Yeah. This was, I guess, like almost all the records coming out this year, probably a pandemic record for you. No travel. And I know a lot of that for a lot of artists, that's where the inspiration comes from. Where did you go to find the characters that make up these songs? Because it's so detailed.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I went to. I mean, geographically where I went to. I was in San Francisco doing my play, The Last Ship, and then the mayor shut the city down. So I got myself and my crew back to England, and I sat at home for a day, and then I said I have to work. So luckily, I have a studio in my house. So 10 o'clock the next morning, I clocked into work, and I worked through till dinner. And, you know, recording a record is a bit like fishing. Some days you throw a line in the river and you get nothing. Next day, nothing. Next day, nothing. One day, maybe a Thursday, you'll get something that looks like a fish. And once you have something that looks like a fish, kind of cut it open and then cook it. But it's as simple as that, really. It's just something to pass the time. And then at the end of a year of that, you find yourself with a bunch of songs that actually fit together somehow by a magical process that I don't quite understand, that they have a kind of theme. And the theme that I could see was that they were all about characters who were in transition from one world to another, from one state to another, between love affairs, between life and death, between sickness and health. And that's what connected all of them. And so that's why I called the album The Bridge. I wrote a song called The Bridge. They're songs about a bridge to the future that is safer and happier. And all of us are looking for it, including me.
Yeah. The way you write about characters too, and I say characters because the songs are just populated, and they always have such specific professions. I think that's what's fun, you know, and you've always done that, whether, you know, it's never just a cowboy. It's a cowboy who's, something else, or something like this. What draws you to writing about those types of characters in that way?
They just come to me. I've written about gamblers who are also philosophers. I like, nobody is just one thing. I mean, real characters, real people are more than just, you're more than a DJ, I'm sure. I'm more than a songwriter. I putter around in the garden. So I like those. I like the reality of people rather than just writing a two-dimensional character. And so they're real to me. They're very real to me.
Yeah. Do you find that, and I'm sure it's not one way or the other all the time, but do you find that the character makes the song, or does the song introduce the character in how you're writing?
I tend to write backwards, that I will find a refrain, something that perhaps on its own will not mean very much, but it has a certain shape and a melodic shape, and it catches in the mind, and then I'll try and make sense of where would that refrain have come from? Why would somebody be saying that? What situation could they be in that would make that a coherent statement? So I work backwards. Yeah. That's my secret.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the way I'm hearing it, but as you said, with the theme of a lot of these characters, a lot of these folks in here being on their bridge, being in that transitional moment. I mean, no one ever seems to start in the best situation. Like when I hear Harmony Road, I'm like, man, this person's like, it's not. Is it going to end well for them?
I mean, they're the most interesting characters, and songwriting and listening to a song offers the process of resolution. I've often said that songwriting is therapy. you start off in a situation that's difficult and complex, and you can't see the way out until the bridge comes along, the middle eight, the bridge. And there you seek a resolution to the issue, a different viewpoint, a different way of looking at it. Perhaps there is a way across to the other side. So again, it's therapy for me, and I hope it's therapy for people listening. We're all in these situations on a daily basis, problems, social problems, personal problems. Songs can help.
Absolutely. I think that's, well, one of the many reasons why I lean into them like I do, but I know that's one of the many reasons why we all do. And then I guess speaking about these specifically too, you had mentioned what you were doing in San Francisco, and the water songs really come on towards the end. I mean, Captain Bateman, I think, makes 2 appearances. Of all the characters, what's the captain's importance here?
Captain Bateman is an old outlaw, formerly Lord Bateman. It's a song about the idea of the song is probably as old as the 11th century. He's a soldier who goes away and fights in a foreign war, gets captured, is imprisoned for life, and then the jailer's daughter falls in love with him, and to get out, he promises marriage. And so this is a song about breach of promise. And he leaves her. In my version of the song, he's punished. Well, I intimate that he's punished, but in the old ballads, he doesn't get punished. He gets away with it.
Well, see, there we go. He had a happy ending originally until he made himself into a Sting song, and then no more. Do you want to lie down on the couch and talk about this a little bit more? That's
Well, I've got behind me is my state of mind at the moment.
Perfectly said. Rushing Water ends up being the first radio single, and what a great song. And I hope you don't mind me saying, I had that feeling of a classic sound to it, like one of your classic sounds.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You dabbled in so many different types of genre, styles of song. For a song like this, which I don't know, I'm just going to call it pop rock, whatever. I mean, is that just a switch that you can flip on? Like, oh, I'm going to write the radio song or something like that, because it just sounds easy.
It is easy. And, the song kind of wrote itself. It really did. It's a guitar song. And, you sit and jam with a band and stuff comes up. But the water symbolism for me is important. For me, water traditionally symbolizes the unconscious. It symbolizes the feminine, both areas which fascinate me. And so really it's a song about immersing yourself in something that you don't quite understand, a medium that is uncomfortable at first, but then, will lead to some sort of revelation. So water for me is definitely that medium.
Yeah. Well, again, just the way that song kind of, I don't know, just feels good. There are feel good moments all over the record. I wrote down Loving You.
Feels good.
Yeah.
What better reason would you need?
Well, Loving You, I give you the same compliment on that one. I mean, it's you do that nice trick where it's got this electronic component, but it's not cold. It's very warm. The background singers give it so much warmth. The mixing with whatever that bow is and the fiddle. I mean, I don't know if you could just talk about the sound of what you ended up with on a song like that. Like, how do you arrive there?
The sound of the album generally is really a vocal sound. I turned the vocal way up, more than most contemporary records. So I wanted my voice to be right inside your head, the listener's head. It's a very personal record because of that. I'm not sort of sat inside a band. I'm way out front, and that was a very deliberate policy. I can't quite explain why, but that's what I did.
I guess that makes a little bit of sense. Just again, knowing that it was, mostly for the most part, just you in a studio. I mean, just you and your voice.
It's true. I mean, it's not such a novelty for musicians to record remotely. We've had the technology for many, many years. The challenge is to make that remoteness an intimate experience. So the drummer might be in Los Angeles, I'm in Paris, the guitar player's in Italy, how do you make that a comfortable sound? That takes a rapport with the other musicians, a sense that they know what I want and I know how to get that from them. I think we did it successfully, even though it's not a natural way to make music. But in the modern age, it's not so unusual.
Yeah. Well, the compliment there too. It does feel like you are all like I can't hear that everyone, and sometimes you can. I mean, sometimes you hear the disconnection at least. You know.
Well, it's a state of mind. You know, music is a state of mind.
Right. I hope you don't mind the broad question here. Where did the idea for Hills on the Border come from?
You know, I come from the north, the very north of England on the Scottish border, and the hills there are a kind of natural boundary between England and Scotland, and it's been a war zone for 1,000 years. Many battles were fought up there. There's many ghost stories. So I wanted to write a ghost story about my home area.
Yeah. Well, again, the feeling of that one, there's a mood. I mean, it's a definite mood that kind of lives in that song. So I do love it. Maybe it's the deluxe edition, but it ends with a couple of covers. If I had to choose of my 10 favorite songs of all time, an impossible task, but I'm pretty sure you did 2 of them, talking about Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and Nilsson's I Guess the Lord Must Be in New York City.
Yeah.
You've been doing these daily videos or weekly videos on your Twitter, and you talked a little bit about Dock of the Bay. This is a song that goes back to your childhood. Is that right?
Well, I think I was 15 or 16 when that record came out. I was devastated by Otis Redding's death, untimely death, only a few weeks after he'd recorded the song. I remember buying it. I was on the Stax label and putting it on, and just there's an incredible sadness about that song. And I suppose the situation of his death would add to that. But what's remarkable about the song is there are no minor chords in it. It's all major chords. There's an E9 in the verse, in the chorus, but apart from that, it's just major chords. That's very clever. Yeah. How do you do that? So, recording it and actually analyzing it was a very useful exercise for me. I would have never considered recording what I regard as a masterpiece again. Why? Why would you do that? Except I was asked by the Alzheimer's Association if I would choose a song that I would want to remember. The research is that people who suffer from dementia more readily remember songs than anything else. And so it was part of that campaign. Otherwise, I would never have recorded it. So it was just basically as a bonus saying, this is what I've been doing in the year, extracurricular, or just for fun, if you like.
Yeah. I mean, the magic in music, here we are, you deal in the thing that gives the most lasting impact on a brain. And I think I talk about that a lot in other interviews too. I mean, as far as those senses go, smell's pretty powerful, but there is something about music that not only works in the situation that you're talking about, but I mean, it's a time traveling mechanism for anybody. It's so amazing. Anytime that's a song right there. Anytime I hear Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, I can go back to those first moments of hearing that song. It's incredible.
Yeah, wonderful. That's an emotional touchstone for me.
Yeah. What about the other one then? I'll ask about the Nilsson song there. I guess the Lord Must Be in New York City. I've never looked it up to see if I was correct. I always assumed that he wrote that one since Everybody's Talking was a cover of him proving that I can also write that song too.
It has the same sort of musical building blocks, the same chords as the one he didn't write from Midnight Cowboy. Again, I was asked to do it by Griffin Dunn. A friend of mine was making a film about the pandemic in New York City, and it was a scene with the health workers looking exhausted. And the song just worked as a piece of soundtrack, and I love the song. There's a lightness to it.
Yeah. So you'll take all of this to the Las Vegas residency, the My Songs. That's the big thing that's coming up next, right? So, I mean, what can we expect from? Is this sort of like a Springsteen on Broadway type of a thing?
Well, I start on Friday, and it really has given me the opportunity to dress my songs in a much more visual manner than I've ever thought about before. state-of-the-art production, amazing projection. So we're creating a world for each song, and it's mainly my old songs. I'm only doing 2 songs from the new album, which is Rushing Water and If It's Love. The rest of it on my catalog, but in a context that you haven't seen before. And we did a production run last week, and I'm very excited by it.
Yeah. So when you say you dress these up in a world, are you able to give a kind of an example of one of those?
Yeah, for example, I opened the show with Roxanne as it was written originally with just acoustic guitar in Paris. I wrote that in a seedy hotel behind the Gare Saint-Lazare in 1978. So I recreate that world, and then suddenly we go to 1989 with Message in a Bottle, big band number. So it's full of little moments like that. It's really the story of my life.
Oh man,
without me saying very much.
I would love to see that. I mean, hopefully, if at the end of this, if I don't make it to Vegas, that there ends up being some kind of video.
If that's what the hint is.
That's it. That's what I need. I need to know somebody who can get me an in. That's.
I'll give you 2.
Thank you. I'll quickly bring up, outside of the music, another world that you've been a part of is the excellent series Only Murders in the Building. It was on Hulu, which I just finished over the weekend. You're a suspect in this, and I don't want to give too much away, obviously, for people who haven't seen it, but this is so fun to see you playing yourself, also the caricature of Sting. I think. I mean, how did you get pulled into this one?
All I'm going to say is I'm going to quote Shaggy's biggest song. It wasn't me, okay? Well, I've worked with those two over the years many times on Saturday Night Live sketches, and they wrote a gag in their script, and they asked if I would do it, and I said absolutely. It sounds like fun. So I was playing it straight. I was playing it like it was a serious drama. They didn't tell me it was a comedy. So.
And it starts with a police joke. The entire thing, don't stand. I mean, you're in the elevator, and it's, of course, like, of all the songs, did you instantly realize that was going to be a pandemic song? Talking about "Don't Stand So Close to Me."
No, I didn't, but I was happy that the song had a useful meaning beyond the one I thought of originally. So I like songs that are useful, that have a kind of facility beyond just being in the charts. They can be used for other purposes, and I was happy with that.
Yeah, that's a 6 foot between us song now. That's what it represents these days. Will you? I have to ask. Will you ever be performing the Tim Kono song live, unfinished as it was in the series?
That's a secret. I really can't divulge that. I'm sorry.
I would imagine the same goes for if I ask you, can we expect Sting to return in season 2?
I live in a building, so you'd think they would, give me a walk-on, a line, I'll carry groceries. Yeah, I live there, so why not?
Last one. Have you seen the new Dune movie?
I haven't seen the new Dune movie, but I've read very good reports of it. I know Fade isn't in it, so they're probably waiting for the sequel to bring me back. Old Fade.
I want to see it. I'll pay to see it. I need 2 tickets to that one too, by the way. That's I did watch it last night, and it's a beautiful movie for what it's worth. It's gorgeous, and
that's good. Then I want to see it even more.
Yeah, no, it's well done. In the meantime, sir, The Bridge is fantastic. Thank you so much for continuing to doing what you do. Sting, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it. It's been a real pleasure.
It's been a pleasure for me, Kyle. God bless you.
All right, you too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.